Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics.
We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. What's up? I'm Jones. He's Adam. Show brought to you by who else? Wells Fargo. When our communities need us, Wells Fargo is here to help. And goodness gracious, we have a lot to do over the next few minutes. We're really excited that you're here with us. We're going to go through the last week or so around Carolina Athletics. That includes some football news, field hockey news, soccer news, cross-country news, all kinds of stuff. Then we have a great interview with Brian Anderson, the starting center on the Tar Heel football team. And then we'll close up with the social drive, as well as we'll bounce around social media and get you up to date on all things Tar Heel. But Adam, let's start with football. And hey, time to play a game after almost a month. Carolina heading to Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, and we'll see Boston College coming up Saturday at 3:30.
Finally.
Yeah.
It's finally game week. Hopefully for the Tar Heels, really an important road game. And the ACC kind of sneaks up on you because, as Jones said, feels like the opener all over again, but this is a good early road test for the Tar Heels. Jeff
Hafley in his first year as the head coach of BC. Eagles off to a solid start, 2-0. Picked up a pretty convincing road win in their first game, 26-6 over Duke in Durham. Then had a sluggish start against Texas State last week at home, but scored 2 times in the final few minutes to come back and win that one 24-21. So the Eagles will be excited to see the Tar Heels, to be sure. First time Carolina's been in Chestnut Hill since 2009. First meeting between these two in total since 2013. And Adam, after Boston College, Carolina will be at home next weekend against Virginia Tech, and some big pieces of news around this game. Number one, we know the time in which the Tar Heels and the Hokies will kick. That is a noon game in Kenan. That's a national ABC game, so back-to-back weeks that the Tar Heels will be the national ABC TV broadcast. You, of course, can listen on the Tar Heel Sports Network as well. And Adam, big news as far as the capacity in Kenan Stadium. Tar Heels will be able to have some fans.
The state of North Carolina is going to allow Carolina to have 7% of capacity at an outdoor venue. So that requires some difficult mathematics. Jones had to get out his abacus and his scratch pad. And there's a different combination of tickets. Students, of course, will get priority. There'll be a lottery for student tickets. Of course, players' families will be taken care of. The band will be there. The other teams' families will be there. And then if you're a Rams Club member, you've got a couple different ways you could get in. There'll be some premium seating and priority point distribution to Rams Club members. And then if you don't qualify under that method, there'll be a lottery for Rams Club season ticket holders. So if you're a Rams Club member and a season ticket holder, you've got the option of going into the lottery where you might have a chance to get tickets to go to that Virginia Tech game. And hopefully, Jones, as the season progresses, maybe that capacity will increase.
Sure.
And as Carolina plays other home games later in the schedule, that number might go up and more Tar Heel fans might be able to attend.
Yeah, I got my tiny calculator out and figured out that the team's going to get about 500 tickets. It'll be around 1,000 for students, 300 for the opponent. And you may be saying, wait, why is the opponent getting 300? That's for family members for them. You certainly hope that would be something that's reciprocated as Carolina goes on the road as well later this season. And then 1,300 for those priority point Rams Club members and season ticket holders. And then the rest that are left over, you then have the Rams Club season ticket holder lottery. So excited to have some folks around 3,500 in Kenan Stadium. Looking forward, hopefully, to that number going up as Carolina moves along this season. And one more piece of football news. Of course, Carolina lost the game against Charlotte a couple weeks ago. The Heels have been working hard to fill that hole in the schedule, and they announced that they have indeed done so. It will be against Western Carolina, a unique date and some unique circumstances to this game. It is Friday, December 11th. And Adam, the biggest unique part about this is that there is a clause in this contract for this game that if Carolina has to move an ACC game to that weekend because of any COVID-related problems, if they have to adjust that schedule, then that game, the Western Carolina game, will be removed from the schedule. So obviously a unique circumstance in what is a very strange year.
Really recommend you go back and listen to Bubba Cunningham on the audio podcast last week. He talked some about the details of making this game happen and some of the flexibility that Jones just mentioned that would be required to pull this off. Of course, the Tar Heels hope they're playing this game on Friday because maybe they'll be in the ACC championship game on December 19th, so you've got some room there for game week preparation. But the ultimate goal, flexibility, because as we've seen, the games that are currently on the schedule might need to move around, and now the Tar Heels have the opportunity to do that while hopefully playing the full schedule.
Carolina played Western Carolina in 2017 and 2018, with the Tar Heels winning both of those games. All right, let's go from football to some other sports around Carolina, and we'll start with women's soccer. And no big surprise here, the top-ranked Tar Heels had some success this past weekend, defeating Duke 2-0 in Durham. And Duke, who has a very solid women's soccer program, has been on the wrong side of things against the Tar Heels a whole lot. Adam, look at that record, 42 wins, just 3 losses and 2 ties all time against Duke in women's soccer. We thank Brian Ives for that stat via Twitter, and impressive numbers there for what is an impressive program in women's soccer.
You know you have an excellent program when you're having to search for ties to motivate you. Really got to avenge that tie. That's when things are really going well for your program, when that's what upsets you. Izzy Brown had a goal in that game. Macy Bell also played well. Brown and Bell swept the ACC Players of the Week honors for offense and defense, so a very successful week for the Tar Heels, and they'll try to continue that today against a kind of a resurgent Clemson program that has not been scored upon this year. Both teams are undefeated, and Carolina and Clemson will play today at 4 o'clock at Dorrance Field.
So that should be another good one, another test for the women's soccer program. Carolina and Clemson both ranked in the top 5 nationally. Adam, will go from there to men's soccer, and men's soccer getting going in its season. The Tar Heels defeated NC State in an exhibition recently, but its first official game of the season comes up Friday against Duke. There has been a time change for that. We'll check that out there. That game is now scheduled for 7 o'clock on Friday over in Durham. So the guys getting started as well. And one of our favorite programs too, Adam, field hockey is on the move as well.
We do love some field hockey, and Karen Shelton's squad will be back on the field on Friday. They're traveling to Louisville. Of course, you know field hockey's won 47 games in a row. They've got National Player of the Year, Erin Matson, candidate, worldwide Olympic champion. She was not a champion, but she is in our hearts. And the Tar Heels traveling to Louisville, which has got a good program, as field hockey had a little bit of time off, but now their schedule really ramps up over the next couple of weeks.
Let's move to cross country, Adam, and a big congratulations to Tar Heel freshman Sasha Neglia. She was named the National Cross Country Athlete of the Week. She was also named the ACC Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Week after winning her the first meet of the season at the Virginia Invite. Not
bad for a first meet. Also, Sasha's squad, the women's cross-country team, won that meet, the Virginia Invite. The men finished 3rd, but great start to the year for the cross-country programs. First time ever that a Tar Heel has been named the National Athlete of the Week in cross-country. So again, congratulations to Sasha. All right, before we get to our interview with Brian Anderson, let's wrap up with golf. And we have some men's and women's golf news. We'll start on the men's side. Austin Greaser won the GCAA Amateur Series, shot a final round 68. It is his 3rd win this summer and fall. So congratulations to Austin. That scorecard looks nothing like what my scorecard would look like. And Adam, we have some news on the women's side as well. It looks just like mine. I'm usually able to get it in the clown's mouth. You can watch a Tar Heel on the LPGA circuit this weekend. Bryn Walker will participate in the LPGA ShopRite Classic in New Jersey. It's the 3rd time she's played in that event, so certainly good luck to Bryn, who's one of those 5th-year seniors who will be back for a 5th year with the Tar Heels this year. All right, let's go from there to not a 5th-year player, but a junior on the offensive line, Brian Anderson, the starting center for Carolina football. Our interview with Brian is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coke tastes better together. Coca-Cola, a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Still have the social drive to come, but first let's get to our interview with Tar Heel offensive lineman Brian Anderson. We have learned to be very cautious when we say this, but we think it's a Tar Heel football game week, and we're pretty excited we're going to get to watch the Tar Heels play football. Brian Anderson, Carolina's starting center, is with us. Brian, we think it's game week. Happy game week. How's the team managed these very unusual last couple of weeks?
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you all for having me. But the last couple of weeks have been fun. You know, we just got to come every single day and try to bring our own edge and our own energy every day, and it's something that I think we've done a really good job of. So, I mean, especially now that, you know, we do believe they're going to have a game this week, just coming to practice and knowing that, you know, you're really preparing for a game Saturday, something that's been really fun to practice for.
Brian, take us through, you guys just get finished with that Thursday practice a couple weeks ago. Coach Brown, as he does after practice every time, starts addressing the team and lets you know that, hey guys, I got some bad news about the Charlotte game. What went through your mind? What was the reaction of the team?
I mean, at first, like, it was kind of surreal. I honestly didn't know if it was actually happening or not. But, you know, right after practice when he told us that, it was just like, I don't know, it was pretty disheartening because, I mean, you work so hard for a game, and then that Thursday practice in particular was actually probably the best practice I'd say we've had all year. And we were just so locked in and so prepared and had a great game plan going into it. But it's just one of those things. It was just a bump in the road. And, you know, once they told us it was canceled, you know, they said they were going to try to find another game down the road. But, I mean, still, it was just kind of tough for it to happen right there. And I was just kind of in shock for a little bit. But, I mean, you know, obviously once it's set in, you just kind of roll with the punches and you move on. So now here we are with Boston College coming up Saturday.
Coach Brown has said he feels like Boston College is almost like doing the opener again. What similarities and what differences do you see in this week versus the week leading up to Syracuse?
I mean, I would just say the similarities is, I mean, you have an extended period of time that you can really break down film. And, you know, it was nice, especially with them playing this past week against Texas State. It was nice being able to have an additional game to watch and break down. But really when you can just add in more practices, so this week and then last week, just adding on good practices that we can going into game day is something that's great because, I mean, we could do that against an opener and then we can do it here. And it's, I mean, with it being 3 weeks, almost a month before this game in preparation, it's just, I don't know, it's just been something that we just had a good bit of time to get ready for.
How tired are you of going against your teammates on the practice field at this point?
Oh, man. I mean, I'd say I'm tired of them, but, I mean, at the same time, I am excited to play some new opponents this Saturday. So, you know, obviously you got what you got, and, you know, going up against our defense is a great challenge every single day, and it's fun because, I mean, we all kind of get a read of what we're all going to do with each other. So everyone kind of plays off of each other. And, you know, going into a new game, each opponent has a different tendency, a different way they play certain techniques. So it's fun to go against someone new on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that.
You mentioned breaking down the film from Syracuse. When you went back and looked at that, what things did you see that the offensive line specifically and the offense as a whole can do better this coming weekend and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think against Syracuse, I think it was pretty evident for everyone that watched that. It's just first half, things didn't really click for us. And, I mean, I'd like to think of it, you know, maybe we were just kind of shaking off the cobwebs or whatnot. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we just weren't finishing when we needed to finish. And then, obviously, going into the second half, there was a quick change to that, and we seemed to put things together. And moving forward with practice after that, in the last 2 weeks, it's been something we've really just been able to build off of. And so it's been nice just to have that first game under our belt. And, you know, it's back. College football's back, and we're playing, and everything's good. And we've overcome all this adversity, and we're just ready for the next one.
Now, Brian, in talking to you right now, you seem like a very nice, pleasant guy. I think on the football field, you got to have a little bit of that nasty edge to you, especially where you are down there with everybody banging into each other all the time. How do you switch from the very nice, pleasant Brian Anderson that we're having a conversation with to the one that's got a little mean streak with him?
I mean, that's just kind of my MO. I mean, that's just kind of who I am. Whenever I buckle up that helmet, it's a little different. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons I love playing football. I mean, you talk to me off the field. I'm a very personable guy. I like to be with other people and hang out. But, you know, when you're on the field, that's kind of my escape where I can really, you know, unleash a side of me and I guess take out some hidden aggression that a lot of times doesn't get displayed. But, yeah, I love that part of the game, and that's what just really draws me to keep coming every week.
Now, Brian, Michael Carter was mic'd up at practice this week. You have taken some grief for your singing in that clip. Do you care to defend your singing at all?
I mean, I'll leave it up to the judges, which are the people. But, you know, we were just having some fun in the moment. Mike told me he had a hot mic on him, so, you know, I had to bust out a couple notes. So.
If they mic up Brian Anderson at practice, what will the highlights be?
A lot of beeps in there, Brian?
No, not a lot of beeps. I think you just hear a lot of very loud yelling. In my communication, I'm very loud and bring out a very deep, almost devil voice whenever I make my calls loud because I want everybody to be able to hear what I'm saying. I don't know. You'd hear a little bit, you know, halftime in practice when everyone's, you know, that's your break mid-practice. You'd hear a little bit of, you know, cutting up, probably a couple jokes, something like that. But, no, I mean, you hear a lot of yelling, a lot of grunting, and, you know, dirty things that go on in the O-line. So those are the trenches.
Speaking of trenches, now you're a big outdoorsman. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's a very fair statement.
All right, how'd you get into that? What do you like to do?
Well, let's see. I think just growing up, I have 3 older brothers, and you know, kind of why I'm all into sports too. In high school, I played like 5 sports. The house we grew up in, we had a real big backyard, and it's just me and my 3 older brothers always grew up playing sports and doing things outdoors. And so anytime I can get out and have fun outside, it's just what I love to do. And then one thing I really love doing is, you know, hunting and fishing and just ethical hunting and conservation of wildlife, something that I'm just really attracted to. It's something that I did with my dad at a young age and just really fell in love with the whole tradition of it. And then just in high school, a lot of my buddies, on weekends, that's what we'd do. We'd get together and go hunt and fish and stuff like that. So anytime I can get outside, whether it be hunting, fishing, playing a sport, playing golf, it's just – I like to have a good time outside. It feels better.
Now, is some of that built-up aggression that you said you have, is that from having all those older brothers and all the like beatings that you took growing up with all the brothers?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say I definitely learned my lessons being the youngest of 4 boys. It's a humbling experience. You know, you learn quickly what you can get away with and what you can't. So I don't know. I guess when you play football, it's especially in high school when I still live with my brothers, there'd be times where maybe if it was a long week, I could take it out on the field, but I don't know.
Brian, we always enjoy talking to offensive linemen because you guys are always such a good group, but you're also so willing to give us the dirt on the other guys. So if we wanted to have another offensive lineman on here and we were going to walk away going, whew, I'm not sure what really happened or who we just talked to, who would that be that we need to have on?
I'm not sure. What are you asking? Like, what are you trying to get out of
Who's the weirdest guy on the offensive line?
Ooh, the weirdest guy. You're probably talking to him. I don't know.
See, that's a leader. That's the center right there. He's going to take that responsibility on his own shoulders. Tell us in just maybe like 15 seconds on each guy. The guys across that offensive line, what do you think they each do, excluding yourself? I won't make you talk about yourself, but the other guys on the O-line, what do you think those guys do well?
On the field or off the field?
Oh man, that's up to you. I'll let you handle that.
I'll stick with on the field. This is a football insider podcast. We'll stick with that. So Austin Richards this is his first year starting. He's a pretty raw guy. He put on a lot of weight in the offseason, good weight, of course, and so now he's it's his first year starting, so he's kind of new in the saddle, and I think maybe saw a little bit of dusting off some little first game jitters a little bit by him the first game, but he's great. He's very athletic and he's smart and has good hands and feet, so he stands out. Ed and Azudu at left guard. Ed's just an absolute bull. He's very strong and has great hands and really has good ability to move people off the line. And Easy's just very smart too. He's a good adjuster to any multiple front that we get. Moving aside from me, I'll say Marcus at right guard is just he's a large human that can easily displace people, and he's just fun to play with. Anytime me and any of my guards get a combo block, it's a really good time just because I know I can always count on them to, we can get a good push going and get some good movement off the line. So Marcus is good with that. And then Tuck at right tackle. Tuck's a good communicator. He can always see things that are going on in the secondary and be very alert if the blitzes or things like that. So I think overall we have real good chemistry up front and communicate really well. And overall, just the more we play together, the better we get with playing with each other.
How much more confident and comfortable are you doing all the things a center has to do to make that offensive line be cohesive than you were maybe last year at this time?
I'd say I'm much more confident just because, this last year I was thrown into the games, the fourth quarter of South Carolina and, most of the game in Miami. And then after that, it was with Wake Forest. That was my first start. And I didn't have my best game that game. And it was just thrown into the scene of it. But now, I have a bunch of experience under my belt. And, I'm the oldest guy on the offensive line now. So I kind of take that older leadership responsibility. So I guess my role and the way I learn myself is by teaching others too. So anytime I have to, take the role and teach others too, that's just kind of how I think we can bring everyone along, and that makes me a lot more comfortable.
That's Brian Anderson, the junior center on Carolina's offensive line. Brian, great stuff, man. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to actually seeing you and your teammates on the field coming up on Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for having me. It's been a great time.
Thanks, Brian.
Man, good stuff from Brian Anderson. We appreciate his time. Look forward to seeing him and the rest of the Tar Heels out on the field coming up Saturday at 3:30. All right, from there, time to buckle up and head to the social drive as we'll take a look around social media and check on the Tar Heels. And Adam, we start with one of our favorite Tar Heels, Kobe White, doing good things per usual.
Yeah, this really is a nice gesture from Kobe White, who donated 3,500 pairs of glasses, including 600 that went to where he went to middle school at Eastern Wayne Middle School. And Kobe, as you see there, said he will always show love to North Carolina. He meant both the state and the program. And in fact, just the other day, Caleb Love was talking about how he had called Kobe White to get some advice on how to play point guard for Roy Williams, and said Kobe was very helpful to him.
Showing some love there, Kobe White. Get it? And so, Adam, Kobe also made some news via social media with something. He's so distinguished by his hair. You always know it's Kobe. Well, take a look at this. What happened, Adam?
Wow. Well, as Kobe would say, wow. Wow, bro. Wow. Yeah, folks, don't worry. Save your emails and Facebook comments. This is not real. See, this is what happens on the internet sometimes. There's a thing called Photoshop and filters, and Kobe, he's just messing with you. He's just messing with you. If you see Kobe out on the street, he'll still have those trademark locks.
These kids with their loud music and their Instagram filters, everything's wrong these days. All right.
You can tell he's enjoying it, though, because he put out the first one and he got enough feedback. He's like, I'm going to do that again tomorrow. And so he did. No telling what's coming next.
Let's go to another Tar Heel basketball player who still has a lovely head of hair as well. That is Danny Green. And Danny and the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. Of course, best of luck to Danny. That is the fourth time now that Danny Green has been part of a team in the NBA Finals, has 2 championship trophies, in addition, of course, to his national championship here at Carolina. He joins some pretty lofty company as far as people who have won national championships at UNC and then world championships in the NBA level. Only James Worthy and Michael Jordan have done that as well. So an impressive group there to be a part of. And speaking of impressive groups, Adam, there was a big group of former men's basketball players that got together here recently.
There was, Jones. This is a big Tar Heel reunion that took place at Primland in Virginia. Among them, Scott Williams, the Scott Williams who played for the Bulls, who did a great interview on the audio pod. Jeff Denny also did a great interview on the audio pod. Michael Norwood. But even with that gathering of illustrious former Tar Heels, this was deemed the Battle of the Bigs. A few not as big snuck in there, but it was John Green who walked away the winner of this year's event. And it was nice to be able to see that Scott Williams was able to come by Chapel Hill after this event and stick his head in the Smith Center and hang out at the basketball office and be around the program. Some difficult for Scott to do because, as we know, he's out in Arizona, but great to see him back in Chapel Hill.
One more piece of basketball footage that we found via social media this week, Adam, and this one's a little bit unique. It goes back to the early 1990s, Carolina playing a home game against Connecticut. And just looking at that picture, you may say, wait, what? That's the Tar Heels in the road blue uniforms, even though they're playing at home. And Adam, you did a little journalism here and did some research and found out why exactly that was the case.
I try to do that once per month, so I'm good for October now. Big Grit sighting, by the way, right there down in the post where he's most comfortable. So this was the third year of the ACC Big East Challenge, predated ACC Big Ten. The first 2 years it was played at neutral sites. Big manager reaction right there. And the first 2 years it was played at neutral sites, but the ticket sales weren't great. And so for the third year, they decided they were going to do it at home court venues, and they were going to play double headers. So this game was actually part of a double header, and they pre-assigned the home team. So Big East was home in this game, and so Carolina wore the blue jerseys at the Smith Center for one of the very few times, and they were able to defeat the UConn Huskies.
We may have to get that footage again for a later show and slow down the crowd reaction. We think there's a young tyke Adam Lucas in one of those celebrating crowd shots. We'll have to take a closer look in future episodes. Let's go from basketball to men's tennis. And Adam, one of the most accomplished athletes in recent history at Carolina, Will Blumberg, is going to return to Chapel Hill and to Carolina for a 5th year. And that is great news for the men's tennis program.
Man, it really is. As Blumberg's an 8-time All-America. He was the Senior Player of the Year in college tennis this past year. He won the Patterson Medal. He won a Rammy, for goodness sakes. And the fact that he's able to come back is a big boost for Sam Paul's program, and also a nice reminder that the Rams Club's helping a lot of those 5th-year seniors come back for the spring semester, and a gift from Roy and Wanda Williams helped move that process along. A lot of Tar Heel spring sports going to be loaded this spring with talent that's able to come back and try to win a national championship again.
All right, let's finish up with 2 things from Carolina football. We'll start at the professional level, where a lot of Tar Heels are having success, and that includes Eric Ebron with a new team this year. Eric, first year with the Steelers, and he picked up his first touchdown as a Steeler. Let's take a look and listen.
Shotgun, Roethlisberger, rainbow, touchdown, Eric Ebron. Beautiful connection. Big bend to his tight end. And the Steelers cut into the Texans' lead.
Nice throw by Ben Roethlisberger. Great catch by Eric Ebron as well. The Steelers went on to defeat Houston in that game. And Adam, good to see Eric still having success.
Really nice to see him doing well. You feel like that Roethlisberger to Ebron connection is one that'll get even better as the Steelers season progresses. We should have Eric Ebron on the video podcast. He'd be really good on the Carolina Insider.
Someone we have had on the video podcast will be who we wrap things up with this week. Michael Carter, big personality on Michael. He was mic'd up on the practice field recently to get a little inside look and listen on what it's like to be Michael Carter as he goes through a traditional Carolina football practice. We wanted to show you some of the highlights of that now.
Hey, y'all can hear me, bro? Yeah, if y'all can hear me, man. Shout out to my family. Give me that. Hey, Sam. It's doing kind of fun, bro. Huh? It's doing kind of fun. Oh, it's mic? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you know, so I'm not finna change. I'm mic'd up. I want to love you. Can't do it, man. Ah, hey! Hey, you trying to get crappy, bitch. Mike Carter here, running back with Javonte Williams, about to sign out. Hope y'all enjoyed me talking, you know. I know. So long, look at him. Oh. Peace.
2 important things. Number 1, you got to see what we were talking about with Brian Anderson about him showing off his singing ability there into the microphone with Michael Carter. Brian, we are on your side. Number 2, Adam is now wearing a throwback, late 90s, mid to late 90s Tar Heel football jersey?
Don't I look significantly faster wearing this? Like, I look like Dre Bly and Ronald Curry. But Ronald Curry, really, because it's the number 1. I feel like I'm about to roll out of the pocket and flick a 50-yard dime to a wide open receiver to win the game for the Tar Heels.
So these jerseys, that is vintage Mac Brown era 1.0 type of jersey here. I think these are available in the Go Heel store if you want to check them out, if you're interested in having a vintage 90s Tar Heel jersey and look as good as Adam does here.
This jersey is not available in the Go Heel store. This one's going home with Adam. Not an official pod-worn jersey. You can't buy that. You can't buy everything in this world, but you can buy one like it. And you can even wear it over your dress shirt if you'd like to, because that's what the cool kids do.
All right, we got a lot coming up this weekend, most notably Carolina and Boston College on the football side of things. Again, that is a 3:30 kickoff between the Heels and Eagles. Radio-wise, we'll be on the air for that one at 2:30. Hope to join you then, and we'll see you next week for the next edition of the Carolina Insider.
See you later, Big Grit.